American hockey fans, are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Owygen? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and of course also on THPN, the Hockey Podcast Network. Thank you, Dylan and Kyle, for having me on board that awesome website. It's a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Should be another shorty, we'll have to say, more than likely. Kind of talking, conversating, updating about our left winger, Kirill Kaprizov, who, if you haven't been living in a cave, you already know this generally, that he did turn down what would be the highest contract in terms of annual average value, AAV, basically, in NHL history. 8 years, $128 million. Kirill Kaprizov turns it down. So, yeah, that's where we stand with that still at the moment.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, all right then. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? I don't know. Well, here we are again. It's similar to what happened with Marian Gaborik, though I think there was a lot more tension going into that contract squabble with the former GM, who lost his job at the end of the season after that because, well, there'd been enough mistakes, like the whole death by 1,000 cuts. Dumpster Doug. Remember how the conversation about getting rid of Paul Fenton in 14 months, death by 1,000 cuts, that was from Michael Russo at the time. And it was accurate because there was one problem after another. Whereas in Doug Riseborough's case, similar, death by 1,000 cuts, though maybe the smoking gun at the end of the day, despite the 1,000 cuts, like one bad draft pick after another, and bleh type trade after another. The smoking gun ultimately was, losing Gaborik for nothing. There was a big offer right before the season, around that time. What was it, 10 years, $80 million, I believe? So at the time, it would have been an $8 million AAV, which would have been insanely high at the time, like really high. We're talking 2008, right? Right at the beginning of Brave the Wild. That's when that happened. Marian Gaborik turned it down. Marian Gaborik then gets hurt playing soccer, hacky sack. What an idiot. What an absolute moron. But, yeah, that shows you how, it's just no common sense. Like, that's great, dude. No, I understand you want to have fun or something, but I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. You don't really hear about hacky sack soccer too much, so it's terrific, dude. It sounds like something where you could hurt your groin. Well, he did. Marian Gaborik already had groin issues leading into that, and then, so does Kirill Kaprizov. He's had groin issues too, hasn't he? Sure has. Haven't heard about that once, I don't know. But you haven't heard about that about 50 times or so. So terrific. Here we are. Again, what would it have been? About $16 million per. I think the highest they can possibly go is like 19.1 or something. That's what I've heard per year. But it's like, okay, then who else are we going to sign? I mean, okay, Kevin Garnett. That's kind of what Garnett did at the time as well. And then the NBA went into the lockout and the Wolves, these, all these players we'd like to have. Yeah, good luck, because the Timberwolves are so far over the cap, forget about it. So, I don't know. It's like, what cap space? That's great. Other talk is just you might see us as an organization that doesn't win. And then in the introductory press coverage, leading into training camp, Kirill says he loves Minnie. No, I know. You all know I love Minnie. And, of course, none of us love hearing the word Minnie at all. At least most of us, like 99%. That's just ESPN being all cute and all that stuff with their East and West Coast bias saying, oh yeah, over in Minnie. Yeah, can you shut up about Minnie? Please, just don't say Minnie. It's dumb. Yeah, it's terrific. But, basically he did say, hey, I'm here for 2025 at the very least. At least it's, it's not over yet. Like, the contract's not over, so it's not like it's an emergency that we have to sign right now. So that's kind of Kirill Kaprizov's attitude about it, which is okay. He was jovial, he was kind, he was fun, and it just kept deferring to the agent. Bill Guerin basically was, his usual self, I guess, just kind of looking forward to the season and it's going to be fun or whatever and all that. Contract, that's kind of interesting. Great. We're trying our best. Nothing's easy. It was basically the old ain't nothing easy, that type of conversation like you might hear in an episode of Matlock or something. Not that there's anything wrong with the original Matlock, by the way. Yes. Yeah. With me, I usually like to talk about original. It's kind of like Brave the Wild being the original independent Minnesota Wild podcast, which it is, by the way. It goes back to 2008. Not that there's anything wrong with doing a Minnesota Wild podcast other than this one, especially Crease and Assist. Love you guys over there, Derek, Kalisha, and Teresa. You guys do an amazing job. What's he said? Stephen Miller on lately a couple times in a row. So Stephen Miller, nice job, man. So he's interacted with Brave the Wild a few times on X. Again, this should be it might be 2 segments because we got the ads back. So, the personal ad, the ad, you're going to hear it at DraftKings again. So I guess if the season started today, and of course, like normally, I might have just waited for the, season preview, as of course we're going to officially get the lineups when they come. But to do the next episode, but this is a Marian Gaborik saga, that type of thing. Marian Gaborik, Kirill Kaprizov saga. Remember, that's how Brave the Wild started, was talking about the Marian Gaborik saga continues, or the Gaborik saga continues. That was the first episode of Brave the Wild, going back to, was it the end of August, early September? All those years ago. Was that 17 years ago? My God, it was 17 years ago. That's how long I've been podcasting. So, yes, this is the 3rd oldest podcast that's still, going, still ongoing. Third oldest podcast in Minnesota. Period. So, what are the other 2? Timberwolves Explosion, number 2. Similar host, maybe. Purple Mafia, number 1. That's a similar host to that one, too. Yeah, anyhow, I know I tend to bring that up a lot because it blows my mind. I can't believe it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Some of us really like what we do, and we just keep doing it. That's all what it really is. It's not bragging. It's just, I love doing this. That's what that tells you. Just like being loyal, that type of thing. Anyhow, if the season were to start today, at least according to the Daily Faceoff, or dailyfaceoff.com, Marco Rossi would be your top-line center. That sounds cool. Left winger would be the guy who could be a pending free agent here, if things don't, unrestricted free agent, by the way, if things don't change soon. Number 97, Kirill Kaprizov. Dollar bill, I don't even want to hear about the dollar, especially dollar. Just say dollar, okay? Anyhow, that's just how I roll. Sorry. I know I'm offending everybody. No, I just don't like it. Dollar bill Kirill, yeah. Left winger, right wing would be Matt Boldy. That's a fun line. The second line would be the second scoring line, you could say. Joel Eriksson-Ek. Left winger would be Liam Ogren. What do you think of that? So, obviously, instead of talking about Marcus Johansson at the left wing, it'd be Liam Ogren, and I would be very happy. Apparently, he's bulked up quite a bit. We'll talk about him in the fan interaction segment. So, I guess we will split this into 2. Again, don't anticipate this show to be too long, obviously. We're just kind of being caught up and kind of keeping the blood flowing, that type of thing, because you don't want to just sit there and stop doing the show, especially when there's news like this, conversation like this, and I'm late as hell to the party. Imagine that. But, again, the new job is actually a little bit, tiny bit more demanding, which is also, again, one of the reasons I was anticipating that. It's not that much more, but enough more that, it's, not that easy to get a show out all the time. When I'm still doing the second job, the lawn service, which I am in my Marc-Andre Fleury season. 31 years doing lawn service. It's Marc-Andre Fleury time, where at the end of the year we'll be doing a lot of handshaking and smiling and adios amigo. Well, maybe there won't be a whole lot of that, but it will be similar in terms of its the end of the line. That's probably the only similarity. Maybe also I maybe have a nice smile, maybe. Anyhow, the right winger on the second scoring line would be Vlad the Impaler Tarasenko. Okay, Vladimir Tarasenko. Yes, sorry. Number 91, Vladimir Tarasenko. He used to impale the Wild at times. Though the Wild did beat St. Louis the first time these 2 teams faced off in the postseason. Let's not forget that. The year the Wild acquired Devin Dubnyk, and we had that awesome run, and we just kept winning games, and we actually won a playoff series pretty handily for the first time in our career, or in the history of the Wild. They actually won a playoff series without having to go to Game 7. But after that, they got swept by the Blackhawks. So it wasn't our year, really, was it? Even though it felt like it might have been. We got swept. It was like 3-0 Blackhawks, like 10 minutes into the first period. It was awful, like awful, as Dean Evison would say. It was very depressing. That's your second scoring line. Now, that took me about 50 minutes to get there, but whatever. Happy to have Liam Ogren on the second line, potentially. It isn't written in stone, but I hope that's going to happen. That'd be a pretty good second line, honestly. Third line center, the first checking line, you could call it. In the old days is what you'd call it, the checking line, the top checking line. But the third line ultimately, Danila Yurov, which would be very exciting. I cannot wait to see what he can do at the NHL level. I can't wait. Ryan Hartman will be the right winger and in an appropriate position as far as I'm concerned. I think there's some flaws in some of this, but because the second checking line, on the top checking line, the third line, Marcus Johansson on the left side. More than likely, I can imagine there being a flip-flop here because on the fourth line you have Marcus Foligno on the left side. I think that's going to flip-flop one way or another. I mean, Marcus Foligno is probably more likely to be on the third line, but I suppose Johansson's more of a scorer. Foligno's getting older. Johansson's getting older too. So, I don't know, maybe you'd want a skilled player with Yurov, and Ryan Hartman is a skilled player, but he's, physical as well, and he gets in trouble sometimes, and I wish he'd stop doing that, but he played pretty frickin' good at the end of the season, though it did annoy a few people, including a certain number 23, Marco Rossi, when he was put all the way down in the fourth line, so Ryan Hartman could play up on the top or second line. It was really annoying. Anyhow, we still signed him to a bridge contract. We talked about that in the last episode. Your fourth line center or second checking line or whatever you call it, Marco Sturm, of course, as what basically was, put in there. That one pretty much was in stone. He's going to be your fourth line center, most likely number 7, Marco Sturm. Marcus Foligno is on the left, and Yakov Trenin is on the right wing side, number 13. Bad luck number as it is. Yeah, that was a bad luck signing. Pretty expensive. He does have some skill. He does bring physicality and He brings his size. But I'd say he was awfully disappointing last year. Hopefully he won't be as disappointing. It's exciting, I suppose, for you when you get that big contract and then you feel comfortable. But maybe as the years continue into that contract, you start waking up, playing a little better. That would be greatly appreciated by Yakov Trenin. Instead of Yakov Trenin is what a lot of us were calling him, if not maybe putting an F where the Y would be. Bleep off Trenin. I don't know. I'm just kidding. That's kind of what it feels like, though. That's how frustrating it was last year. So that was annoying. I know. Sorry for the dumb humor. I don't know if they call it gallows humor. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to terminology like that. Okay, now that about 50 minutes later, defensive pairings, right now, at least at the moment, and more than likely, I like that third pairing. It seems unlikely, but it'd be kind of cool. At least that's what they're putting there because of injuries to very important people. But we'll get to that in a second. Top pairing at the moment because a guy by the name of Jonas Brodin is out, so that's kind of important. He's kind of a big deal. Right side, Brock Faber. Left side, Jacob Middleton. Please stay healthy, guys. That'd be great. Second pairing, Jared Spurgeon and a much more muscular and noticeably more muscular, which I think was absolutely necessary because he looked kind of like a kid in the postseason last year. That would be the top pick in 2024 for the Minnesota Wild anyway. And a lot of people see him as the top prospect in the whole system right now. Zeev Buium, number 8, Minnesota, of course. Smaller guys, but one of them is a lot more muscular coming into his, first full season with the Minnesota Wild. Second overall, if you can count that 5 seconds. It's his rookie year. Yeah. Anyhow, Zeev Buium's on the Wild on the left side. The second pairing at the moment, which is awesome, and he should at least be there probably. I can't see him as a third pair guy. But thank you. Jared Spurgeon, please stay healthy for God's sakes. That'd be great. Third pairing, Zach Bogosian. Yeah, Zach Bogosian. Well, he's physical, he's solid, and he's ultimately going to be a 7th defenseman, I think, as the season progresses. That would be on the right side. Hopefully I said that correctly. Who's the left side guy? At least at the moment, it's kind of like penciled in. But this number 71 guy, I hope this could happen. I hope it happens. It's kind of an anticipation type of thing. Carson Lambos? Wouldn't that be cool? I hope he makes it. I'd be very excited, and I do believe Carson Lambos will get some games this year, and we can start seeing what he could do at the NHL level. He did show some encouraging signs with the Iowa Wild last year, and that was awesome. Obviously, the solid plus-minus on a team that was losing a lot of games, and it was like every game was like 4-1 loss, of course, 5-2. That's a plus-minus killer when your team just stinks. But if you're able to maintain a really nice plus-minus when you're losing games like that, That says a lot about you as a defenseman, especially when you're not a particularly high-scoring defenseman. So Carson Lambos, very impressive season in Iowa. I probably should pull up his numbers just to, bring it up here. You might be like, okay, and those numbers are, well, they were good. They were good. There was a good plus minus, yes. So if I could just pull up that thing there, and I should have had it up earlier. I do apologize. Yes, HDB. That's where I always like to go. So my apologies for screwing around here. Yeah, he was a +5. That's really good. The previous year, him being Carson Lambos, of course, -13, which, they were even worse. In 23-24, it was just toxic. It was awful. It was shitty. So it was terrible. -13 with 14 points in 69 games, where last year, Carson Lambos was in 68 games, 19 points, 5 of them were goals, and a +5 on a team that was, again, like I was saying, losing games 4-1, 5-2 all the time. And yeah, they'd win some games too, yes. But it seemed like they were constantly losing games 4-1, 4-2. It was frustrating. It was sad. 5-3. Like, that's a lot of goals given up. And he's a +5. So extremely encouraging for Carson Lambos. Extremely. Liam Logren also was a +2, and he was second on the team in scoring. Despite only 41 games, he was constantly he was up in Minnesota for quite an extended period, Liam Logren, but was scratched most of the time because, I don't know, he just scratched a lot. And I don't know, just put him in the game, please. Come on. Toporowski, I was very disappointed to see him not come back because they decided not to bring him back. I don't know why. He was a +8. So, I mean, I don't know, and he's like 24. Not sure where he's wound up at the moment, but that was disappointing. So, and especially being an Iowa native, kind of sad. Not me, but Luke Toporowski anyway. I'm a Golden Valley, Minnesota native. I'm actually living in my hometown again. So, yeah, I am. So enough of that. Enough about me. Obviously, this is a Wild-centric show, not about Paladino Joey. But very exciting. Very exciting to see some of these prospects. Obviously, Danila Yurov, we're all extremely excited about. Zeev Puyem, the increased muscle structure. Thank you very much. That's very exciting and very encouraging going forward. Again, when you looked at him last year, I thought he looked like a kid, out there among men. I really did. Like, there's a skill level, but he didn't flash, in my opinion. Maybe for like a split second here and there. But he really didn't in the couple games he got to get in the postseason. I just didn't see it yet. And it's okay. It's okay. He was like 5 seconds in the league. So he was younger than Brock Faber was when he got to the National Hockey League. So it is what it is. Brock Faber played up to his junior year. Zeev Puyem played to his, second year. So sophomore year. So it's at least one less year, that type of thing. So, and Faber was, obviously, both of them were playing in national championship games. Puyem won, and Faber did not win in his game. So that was disappointing, to say the least. So wish Faber could have won a national championship. It would be nice. Strosa, yeah, he is coming back on a contract, but I could see him being Iowa, for the Chicago, Illinois native. We'll see how that all turns out. Brett Leeson, he's probably going to be in Iowa as well with Greg Cronin, the coach there. So obviously spent significant time with him in Anaheim last year in the National Hockey League and has been there in the minor leagues as well. Brett Leeson, that is. 6'5" beast. But we'll see how that all turns out at the end of the day. Big is nice and everything, but we'll see. One guy that has been flashing, and everybody's like, holy moly. Pilsen, like Pilsner. Pilsen. Yep, spectacular. Adam Bennick, 5'7" or 5'8" or whatever he is. Very tiny, but definitely has flashed in a big way from the Czech Republic. 18 years of age, 5'7", 164, if these numbers are correct. He's center or forward, that type of thing. But, yeah, mostly a center, especially, right now. And has flashed. He looks awesome. He looks awesome so far with the young guys out there. So we'll have to wait and see how he turns out long term. But hopefully the Wild, don't look at his size too much. But then again, they did draft Marco Rossi in the first place. And I think Marco Rossi is a pretty good player in the NHL. Despite screwing around with him with the whole contract and such. So, anyhow, that was kind of like a general update in a lot of ways. The Kirill Kaprizov situation, clearly there's tension there, but not not tension in terms of like it was with Gabrick and Risebrough and Lemaire and all that. It felt like that was becoming a toxic situation. Gabrick didn't really like playing for Jacques Lemaire that much. He thought Jacques Lemaire was holding him back. And then, of course, Risebrough, there was definitely massive tension going on there. I don't want to call Gabrick a douchebag, but he kind of was sometimes. And then Doug Risebrough was, I wouldn't call him Paul Fenton, but he wasn't, I don't think he was the nicest guy in the world either. A lot of people, there was conversations, he was kind of difficult, kind of arrogant, kind of an asshole, kind of, to say the least. He kind of was. That's what they say anyway. That's not me saying it. It's, people inside the team at the time. Jacques Lemaire, when he feels like he's not being listened to, he kind of moves on. And that's kind of what Jacques Lemaire did at the end of that season. And Gabrick left, and Risebrough was fired. Not brought back, fired. I forget if he was a free agent, but I think he was fired. And I remember being like, hell yes, I was so happy. Chuck Fletcher, not the best GM in the history of the world, but at the same time, was better than Doug Risebrough. That's why we called him Dumpster Doug, always kind of digging into the dumpster to get maybe a fourth liner or something, making trades and awful draft picks. Awful. You just kind of look down the line. There was player after player after player after player that didn't make it. It's just like awful, man. So I don't think it's as tense or as toxic as it was back in 2008 when Brave the Wild was starting. Just imagine if I stepped away from Brave the Wild here, but I'm not going to. But it's just like Kaprizov, it's a similar thing, and it ends bad, just like him. Wouldn't that be sad? It's like it starts with Gabrick and ends with Kaprizov leaving. Yeah, let's not think that way. But hopefully there is a resolution coming when it comes to the Minnesota Wild and Kirill Kaprizov. I think so. There was never a vibe that Gabrick wanted to even stay. Like, he wasn't coming up in front of the camera like, oh, I love it here. I hope things work out or things will work out. It's going to be okay. That's kind of what Kaprizov was saying. Like, there's no real rush. I still have this year at the very least, so we'll get it done. That's kind of what Kaprizov was saying, generally speaking. And Bill Guerin was, at the same time, kind of generally, I don't know, showing there was a little bit of tension, a little bit of frustration, but I think it's more with the agent than the player. And hopefully the player, Kirill Kaprizov, can say, just get a deal done so this isn't a distraction and I do want to stay. So far that has not happened. And, well, the fans are not happy about that. And understandable that the fans would not be happy about that. So with that, we're going to end this first segment, come back and, get to fan interaction and see how much there is there. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, but first we're going to hear from our friends at DraftKings. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime TD props, or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. Getting into this NFL weekend here, which we always love to do, we have upcoming games here. Sunday, September the 21st, the Jets visiting the Buccaneers. Well, you have the money line minus 310 for the hosting Bucks, plus 250 for the Jets. Probably a more exciting matchup maybe the Eagles hosting the LA Rams, two teams that are, well, there's obviously something going on there. The Rams are becoming a threat again. Oh, goody. And the Philadelphia Eagles are the defending world champions. Money line, once again, minus 185 for the hosting Eagles. The visiting Rams, plus 154. 54, anyway. The Colts have been a nice surprise, visiting the Tennessee Titans. Cool. Plus 185 for the hosting Titans, minus 225. Daniel Jones, former Vikings, he was here for a bit, understudy with Mr. Kevin O'Connell. Definitely has emerged beautifully. It looks like that Kevin O'Connell school of quarterback is working pretty good because Daniel Jones looks awfully good. so far with the Indianapolis Colts, doesn't he? Cincinnati Bengals are coming to Minnesota. That's right. It's Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning. Well, anyhow, yeah, it would have been Joe Burrow versus a guy that plays a lot like him, and J.J. McCarthy, or at least he did in Michigan anyway, him being McCarthy. The Vikings, Minnesota Vikings anyway, in U.S. Bank Stadium, minus 162, still favored, and they should be, I believe, plus 136 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, this is the money line. The Cleveland Browns hosting the Packers. My God. Whew. Yep. Plus 370. The Browns hosting the Packers. Plus 370. Wouldn't that be something if the Browns beat the Packers? Go Browns. That'd be great. Minus 485 for the Packers. Good Lord. So, yeah. Just a little bit thinking the Packers are going to win that one. Seahawks, very heavy favors over the Saints. Not sure why everybody hates the Saints so much other than, well, here we do, but I don't know. Seahawks minus 360. The Saints 285. The Chargers and Broncos, two teams that are off to decent starts. At least the Chargers are minus 162 for the Chargers who are hosting, plus 136 for the Broncos. Yeah, 49ers are missing their quarterback. They're hosting the Arizona Cardinals. They're still favored though, minus 130. Mac Jones was pretty good last week, so don't discount him too much. Plus 110 for Kyler Murray and the Cards. The Bears, the Cowboys are visiting the Bears, plus 100 for Chicago, plus 120, or minus 120, pardon me, for the Dallas Cowboys. Any other exciting matchups, but you get into Monday night and such. So, yeah, those are some fun matchups coming up. I may have read a little too many, but go DraftKings. We love them, so obviously really appreciate them in so many ways. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, plus score over $200 off Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's THPN, of course, to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet, plus over $200 off Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Nice. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Awesome. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer. Better jump on that, baby, won't you? So now we will jump into fan interaction if humanly possible. Of course, I'm getting the black screen of God knows what. The Void. At Brave the Wild, if humanly possible. I'm about as prepared as the Vikings were last week. Oh, they looked absolutely ready to go, didn't they? Though, didn't they look great? It was awesome. Like about the worst offensive line I've ever seen. But the defense couldn't tackle the running back. Quarterback couldn't complete a pass because he was on his back half of the time because the offensive line sucked. But anyhow, it was a good game. What are you talking about? It's a good game. Also, it'd be nice if this would work. This is working about as well as the Vikings offensive line right now. I'm just getting spinning wheels. It's freaking stupid. Would you just come around, please? That'd be great. I'm like that talk show host, like, hey, the guest is, he's coming any minute now. Okay, yeah. I had to joke about that. So there isn't too much, unfortunately. Yes, I love this. This is great. So I was saying, great episode. Derek and Co. released an episode not long before this one, talking about the Kirill Kaprizov saga. So great job. I was talking about the recent one as well. And it was real good. They did a great job. Derek says, thanks for the retweet and recommendation. It's really appreciated. And I'll keep that coming again for the next one. I haven't even done that yet. And again, I apologize again for poor communication. Who was I complaining about? Yeah, I was making fun of how how the Wild signed that. Was it Gleason? What was his name again? I was looking right at him. So yes, the recent player coming in from Anaheim. That was obviously a large player, but nothing too exciting to get nothing to get too excited about. Brett Leeson, yeah, 6'5", but that's like yay. And of course, the other guy who didn't do anything that the Wild got last year was Brazo. That was frustrating. I was saying, ugh, what the devil are they doing? Why not sign Brian Propp while we're at it? Because Derek was saying Liam Ogren, Hunter Haight, Caden Bankier, Riley Height. Yeah, wait your turn, I guess. Yep, it's frustrating. Derek was saying they clearly want another big forward in the bottom six. All we can probably hope is he's better than Justin Brazeau. And I was saying it makes sense, at least judging with the way they've been thinking for a while now. Hopefully he's better than what do you hear, Justin Brazeau. And yes, two businessmen saying, what would you say you do here? Like as if your job is done, basically. Yep, it's a fact. I wish I could go back here without messing up the whole thing. Okay, a couple of polls by Derek Belska. Might as well put them out there. By Derek there of Crease Assist. Which Minnesota Wild prospect do you feel impressed the most at Tom Kerber's prospect showcase this weekend? A lot of people, Adam Bennick, 82%, 83% actually, Bouillon, 11, Hunter Haight, 3.4, and other 2.8. Woof. Next, and I need to put a frickin' poll out, and I will, for the next episode. I got to, man. I feel like an idiot for not putting something out, even to get a tiny bit of reaction. How do you, another one from Derek, how do you see the Kaprizov contract extension situation resolving itself? First place, the original deal plus a no move clause, 40.5. Second place, $20 million AAV, 4 to 5 years term, and a no move clause. That's 32.4%. Third place, 27% traded before the regular season. Ouch. And the bottom of all, thank God nobody voted for that, and because we're hoping it doesn't wind up that way. No extension, Gabrick 2.0. I don't think they'll be that disappointing, but we'll see. Michael Rousseau, I ended up sharing it and doing hashtag BTWMN, which I'm hoping you'll do that. Derek does that. But yeah, when you tweet Brave the Wild, hashtag BTWMN, then I could keep everything organized. Liam Ogren says, I get to practice with Eki and Vladdy. Yep, see, that's that second line. And I hope it keeps that way. And it's been really fun for me, and I've been enjoying my time, and I think we're playing good together. I feel more comfortable and more confident. It's a good opportunity for me. Hell yeah. Keep it up, Liam Ogren. And here's your reply from Derek, which I greatly appreciate. He says, hopefully he gets the opportunity in more of a scoring role so we can see what Ogren can really do. And yes, if he's on that line, he will, because that's second line. So second scoring line, and yes, hopefully, basically who Derek's saying, hopefully he stays right where they have him at the moment. That would be great. Yeah, because like third line, fourth line, that's just, I don't know. Like, yay, you might get a chance here and there, but it ain't going to be much. But second scoring line, hell yeah, let's go for it. And it'd be great to see Liam Ogren become a legitimate NHL player, which I do believe he can, and he will if given the opportunity. Definitely has bulked up. He looks pretty big in that picture. He looks pretty big, like a rock. And of course, Bouillon has done it as well. So as frustrating and annoying as things have gone with the Wild, they're not the Twins. And even the Twins have some decent prospects. You know, they're not the Twins, which I could go on forever, and you probably don't want to hear me talk about the Twins right now. Though, yeah, whatever. You can look on YouTube for some of my stuff about that on occasion. I won't get too far into that. But, yeah, that's definitely a hope going forward here as we head into the season preview and all of that. So hopefully in the next couple weeks here, at least by then, you know, before the start of the regular season at the very least, we can get a nice full season preview out there, and I'll predict the upcoming Stanley Cup champion and all of that, conference finalists, teams that may surprise people, teams that may disappoint or flop. Hopefully the Wild are one of the surprises. We'll see, because maybe they will be. Maybe. Hoping. hoping and praying. With that said, thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate you. Of course, Croesus' podcast. M&W prospects are amazing. You guys do a great job as well. Huge credit there. Minnesota Wild Global, Scott Cavendish, that is, does a great job over there. So really appreciate all of you that do listen to this show. If you could retweet it, share it out there, it would be great. And thank you so much for listening to this show. And we will talk to you in a couple weeks or so.